Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Sunny Varkey.
The Global Education and Skills Forum brings together leaders from the private, public, and social sectors to address education's greatest challenges. The GESF, which took place in the UAE, Dubai, in March this year, had a theme: how do we make real global citizens? Whatever the question, education is the answer. Sunny Varkey, founder of the Varkey Foundation, opened the Global Education and Skills Forum. Mr. Varkey opened the forum by emphasizing that the current generation of young people is special. They are born as true global citizens.
If you permit me, I would like to begin at the very beginning. Every single one of the 130 million lives born on earth each year starts in the same way: a baby's piercing cry. At the moment of birth, each of these children are completely innocent. They have not learned suspicion. They have not learned hatred. They have not learned violence. They are a life of endless possibilities. Their experience is only wonder. Children often embrace strangers, whoever they are and wherever they are from. The dividing lines of nations, cultures, and religions have yet to be imprinted on their minds. You know, this thought always makes me happy. But as these babies grow, they will realize that they have inherited a burden like no generation before. It is the heaviest burden in history. It will fall on them to find solutions to problems that their parents and grandparents have lacked the will to solve. We all know what they are: refugees fleeing their homes on a massive scale, the growing gulf between rich and poor, climate change, too many children, especially girls, with no access to quality education, and too many lives cut short by poverty and disease. And the young must also answer the most searching moral questions in human history. Technology will put amazing powers into their hands that were once the preserve of God and faith.
Vikas Porter, Chief Executive of the Varkey Foundation, welcomed delegates to the 5th Annual GESF. Mr. Porter revealed that at this year's forum, there are over 2,000 delegates in attendance and nearly 250 media delegates who will be covering the conference.
When we think about our conference, we wanted to ask a question, and we ask a question every year that poses, that focuses our minds. And this year the question is very simple: how do we create real global citizens? Now, the most important word in that question is the word real, because there's a lot of conjecture and a lot of talk as to what global citizenship is, why it's important, but actually no one takes it that step further and said, well, this is how you actually do it, this is how you teach it, and this is what it looks like. Now, this conference will differentiate from everything else that you've seen because we want to focus on that question: real. How do you do it? And we're delighted that we have people at the coalface of education, school teachers, who are here, as well as policymakers, Madame Bokova, Ms. Gillard, Andrea Schleicher, who talk about this at a macro policy level. And it's that fusion between the two, I think, that will carry this conference forward and keep us focused on how we do this.
Italy is the country partner at GESF 2017, the delegation of young talents and finalists of the Italian Teacher Prize. On the future of education, Mr. Audrey Essamuah, Director for the Directorate of Education and Skills, OECD, discusses the future of education during the opening plenary at GESF 2017. Mr. Essamuah emphasized the need to educate children for an increasingly digital world, stating, "Those without the right skills are increasingly left behind."
And global competency is the currency in the world of digitalization. Think about digitalization for a moment. It can be incredibly democratizing. We can connect and collaborate with anyone around the world. And actually, digitalization has changed the very nature of democracy. Democracy used to be about the right to be equal. Now democracy is about the right to be different, a very different concept. But digitalization does also the opposite. It concentrates incredible powers. Google creates $1 million for every employee, about 10 times the average American company. And that shows us how technology is creating mass without scale at a frightening pace, leaving people out of the equation. Digitalization can be incredibly particularizing. The smallest voice can be heard anywhere. We see that every day. But it can also be incredibly homogenizing, squashing individuality, squashing cultural pluralism. That is another test for global competency today. Digitalization can be incredibly empowering, but it can also be incredibly disempowering. Think how we all become sometimes the slaves of machines. The rolling process of automation, hollowing out jobs, have made routine tasks, have radically altered the nature of employment. For many, and for many of us, this has been liberating, this has been exciting. But for those who are not prepared with the right education, not prepared with the right skills, it often means vulnerable work, 0-hour contracts, without benefits, insurance, pensions, contracts.
The CEO of Dubai Cares discussed the need to create true global citizens, the theme of this year's forum. Dubai Cares runs a wide range of programs in the Middle East and Africa, working with local NGOs to help create global citizens. The aim is to bring together a community of global citizens and leaders to resolve world issues. On the importance of education in creating true global citizens, he stated, education provides children with passport to this new world.
Global citizenship is not citizenship in terms of legal citizenship. It is about being a citizen of a community. It should therefore nurture personal respect and respect for others wherever they live. Global citizenship should encourage individuals to think deeply and critically about what is equitable and just and what will minimize harm to our planet. As a global philanthropic organization, Dubai Cares firmly believes that foundations for true global citizenship are laid early on. By providing children with the right stimulation and a number of different interactions, they will learn that there is much more out there beyond their immediate surroundings. We want to see global citizenship looking beyond the world's political borders and ideally start at an early age. But encouraging our children to share their opinion and explore their own values while respecting the values and opinions of others, we are creating a foundation for a real global citizen that lasts a lifetime.
Further, during the plenary and in the press conference with the media, 2 Nigerian girls who escaped from the radical Islamic group Boko Haram shared their traumatic experiences, their escape, and their lives after their escape. They further sent messages to girls in other countries facing such experiences.
If I can talk to you first and ask you to recall in your own words what happened on that day in April 2014 when Boko Haram attacked your secondary school in Chibok.
What happened that night was a very terrible experience. We were all at school. All of us were seniors writing our final exams. And the Boko Haram came to Chibok town and they were shooting guns and yelling at night. So we just followed them and they started burning the school. They burned our clothes, our books, and everything. They moved us out of the school and gathered us under a big tree and brought a big truck and packed and said that we should enter the truck. But because the truck was too long and big, they have to park a small car under it. So we have to climb the small car and enter the truck. So we were all afraid. We didn't want to enter the truck because they didn't tell us where they're taking us to. They were talking to themselves in a language that we don't understand. So we were all scared. We didn't know what to do. None of us want to start entering the truck. And so they started shooting guns and say that if we're not going to enter the truck, if you know you don't want to enter the truck, just come out and they're going to shoot you. And so we all got scared and we entered the truck. So because there were a lot of girls, the truck wasn't big enough to carry all of us. And so they told the rest of the girls to walk on their foot and follow us. I was in the truck was moving. We reached a village near Chibok, and they said that the journey is too long, so the rest of the girls have to squeeze in and get in the truck. So we have to squeeze in. Some of us were sitting on other people's leg, and so they put some of the girls in a car, like in a small cars, and then we started moving in the forest. So while I was sitting in that truck, some of the girls started jumping out because it was dark and it wasn't a main road, it's a rough road because it was through the bushes. So there's a little bit distance between the cars at the back and the truck. So you'll be able to jump out of the truck and then hide in the bush while all the cars pass by, then you figure out your way and go home. So we drove through the forest for a while, and some of the girls started jumping out. So I was sitting in that truck thinking that, where am I going? What are they going to do with us? So I turned and said to one of my friends that I'm going to jump out too. If those girls can jump out and we don't see them anymore, the Boko Haram did not follow them, we didn't hear anything, why can't I try and jump out too? So I told her I would rather jump out of the truck and fall down and die. Maybe my parent will see my body than to go with them and will not be found. And she said, okay, she's going to jump out with me. So I jumped out first while the truck was moving, and then I hid in the forest without knowing that my friend jumped after me. So when they all left, I couldn't see the light, I couldn't see the car, I can hear them far away. So I just stood up, I was trying to figure out where I am. And I heard my friend crying, and she called my name. So I went and found her. She injured both of her ankles, she couldn't walk. She was crying, and we didn't know what to do, we didn't know where we were. So I tried and helped her, and we moved a little bit far away from where we jumped. And we sat under a tree until the next day in the morning. She cried the whole time, and then the next day it was morning, and then I decided to go and look for help. She cried and told me that I should go home and just let her die since she can't walk and there's no one there to help us. So I told her, no, I can't leave you here. What if I go home and your parents ask me what happened? How am I going to tell them that I just leave you here to die? I can't. That's what I told her. So I decided to go and look for help, and I was going through in the forest, so I found a shepherd, like the normal people that travel with their sheep and their cows in the bushes, and then the next day they'll continue their journey. So I found him with his family, so I talked to him and asked him for help. And he said, I'm sorry, I can't help you, but the only help I can do for you guys is don't follow the main road, or you can wait here while other people from town will start going to market or to farm. They will find you and help you. Or you can just move through this direction. He just showed us a direction that if we follow that direction, we'll see a village and then we might find help there. So I told him that my friend cannot walk. How can we walk through the bushes? So I tried and convinced him, and then at the end he decided to help. And he put my friend on his bicycle and wheeled it and took us to a village. And from there we found a man with a motorcycle that carried both I and her on his motorcycles and took us home. That was how I was able to get home.
So every one of the girls who are going to be coming on stage represents a girl that was abducted and is still missing. 3, 2, 1. Thank you very much. Thank you to everyone. And thank you all to everyone on stage. Thank you very much. A big round of applause, please, for everyone.
The Global Education and Skills Forum was infused with interesting and educative sections like Meet the Mentor with Julia Gilliard, Andrea Slyker, Thomas Friedman, Geoffrey Canada, and Teacher Masterclass with David Gale, Maggie McDonald, Ken Silburn, and a host of others. The highlight of the Global Education and Skills Forum is the Global Teacher Prize, which seeks to award the best teacher with a $1 million prize. The Global Teacher Prize is awarded by the Vaki Foundation under the patronage of His Highness Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, UAE Vice President, Prime Minister, and ruler of Dubai. The Global Teacher Prize is part of the Vaki Foundation's long-standing commitment to improve the status of teachers. Among the 10 finalists, we caught up with the Kenyan finalist, Michael Wamaya, who talked about the conditions of his work and how he felt being part of the final 10.
It was really a big surprise to me, and the fact that my work is being recognized globally was really an honor, and I'm really grateful. I want to use dance as a tool to not really change, but to at least influence the way of living of children in the informal settlements, and just to give them a sense of hope, and that there is a life out of Kibera, for instance, that there is you can pursue your dream anywhere, and it doesn't matter on your background or your social background, but what matters is your talent and your persistence. Yeah.
I'm delighted to be able to introduce the Vaki Foundation's Global Teacher Prize. Last year, my brother spoke about some of the qualities of those teachers who have had the greatest impact on young lives. He said that the best teachers are those who can reach young people early in their learning journey, supporting them, often through turbulent times in their lives, to give them the best chance for the future. I would like to build on what William said by highlighting the vital role teachers also play as our role models. In addition to reading, writing, and arithmetic, the very best teachers go beyond the pages of textbooks to teach young people about determination, aspiration, resilience, and of course, compassion. We will all face setbacks and challenges in our lives, and our teachers play a vital role in preparing us for those ups and downs. The finalists for this year's Global Teacher Prize are from every corner of the world, from the Canadian Arctic to Kenya and Pakistan. But there's one thing they all have in common. They spark curiosity within a child and nurture the dreams that can change our world for the better. I'm sure everyone can remember the teachers who did the same for us and those that helped us through our formative years. I can certainly pinpoint those who had an impact on my life.
Widely referred to as the Nobel Prize for Teaching, the US $1 million Vaki Foundation Global Teacher Prize is the largest prize of its kind, and it's given to one exceptional teacher who has made an outstanding contribution to the teaching profession. A Canadian teacher, Maggie McDonald, takes home the prestigious award this year.
The winner of the Global Teacher Prize 2017 is
Maggie McDonald.
My dream is that I can work with my students to establish an environmental stewardship program and help Inuit youth reconnect with many of their cultural traditions. And I look forward to seeking the counsel and the advice of the Vaki Foundation on how to best take those next steps.
One of the biggest nights of my life, I just won the Global Teacher Prize. I want to thank His Highness Sheikh Mohammed and the Vaki Foundation for coming up with this brilliant idea and shining a spotlight on the profession of teaching. To be honest right now, it still feels like a dream. I can pinch myself to know if I'm really here and if everything that's happening is actually true. But I'm so excited to take my flight soon, get back to Canada, and turn this dream into a reality. Thank you so much for this Global Teacher Prize. I know myself and my students are going to put it to excellent use. Teachers matter. Thank you for all that you're doing out there.
Your Highness, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum, good evening. Maggie McDonnell On behalf of all Canadians, and from one teacher to another, congratulations on winning the Global Teacher Prize 2017.
Concerning education in Ghana and the hope that a Ghanaian teacher might make it to the final 10 one year, the Education Minister, Honorable Matthew Prempeh, has this to say.
I think there are a few global educational conferences, and of course they are all very useful in the sense that at such conferences you share experiences, you learn from best practices elsewhere, and you try to implement. You learn from what you are doing wrong back home, and you try and change as well. In that sense, this has been an extremely useful conference for me, in the sense that some of the things we are trying to do back home, that they are the same thoughts others are doing. Some of the things we are getting wrong back home too, our eyes have been opened. So it enriches us, and it makes probably better policy formulation going forward. Especially looking at funding of infrastructure. I joined an alliance where we are trying to encourage public-private partnership in the funding of infrastructure. And it was an eye-opener to listen from colleagues at different parts of the world and what they've gone through. And if you want to deliver quality education in Ghana, we should also think about a safe, secure environment where our kids study. It was a policy pitch. I was a judge in two policy pitches. One was the girl-child education early and the differences, and how we need to bring into the assessment of ladies' education or girls' education certain things we overlook, and also where early reading is a sine qua non for quality education, lifelong learning. Fantastic policy pitches, one by a World Bank expert and another by a lady who was in an investment banker who was an NGO. They were eye-openers. With the World Bank one, I think that is what we have been trying to do in Ghana. When the president talks about reforming the curricula, primary curricula, to include and to restrict it to reading, writing, arithmetic, and creativity, that is exactly what he's saying. The ability, getting the skill, the tenacity to love reading is the foundation of everything. The foundation, if you are doing a language, if you are doing history, if you are doing classics, if you are doing science, your love of reading propels you. So I engaged Patrinas after that about sharing experiences and where we want to go in Ghana. Like I said, it gives me confidence that the decisions we have taken back home are the right decisions, and also to share experience going forward and how we can achieve it. Certainly, I think we should go on that path.
We also spoke with the Director of Girls Education, who also expressed their hope in a Ghanaian teacher making it to the final 10 one day.
Since 1995, this unit was established within the basic education unit of the Ghana Education Service. And our mandate is to ensure that all Ghana girls are enrolled in school. They are taught by well-qualified teachers with their brothers, so that at the end of the day, they become useful citizens of Ghana. And in Ghana, we have girls' education officers in all the 216 districts who see to it that this is done at the grassroots level. They promote girls' education. Not just that, we also ensure that those girls who are needy, we seek for support for them, and also seek for the redress when they are abused. So in short, I would say that is what we do. We also seek for scholarship for those who are brilliant but needy. Sometimes we have to look for scholarship for even the basic education girls. Then we also ensure that these girls are taught very well. So we monitor teaching and learning, and also the school environment in which they find themselves. The program was very nice. When I went, I realized that girls' education issue is not affecting only Ghana, but the whole world. As it was a global issue, I heard a lot of things from other countries, and I realized we are also doing our best. Most of the things, the practices, we are also doing the same thing in Ghana, and the challenges are the same. So it was good we all went for that program, and from their experience we could also adjust or re-strategize to ensure that every girl is educated in Ghana.
Teach for Ghana, an NGO currently operating in Ghana, spoke on the challenges and successes of their program.
Partners have been launching for the last 1 year, 2 years. We have been growing very fast. The network has been growing very fast. As you know, Teach for Ghana was launched last year, and now a couple of months ago, Teach for Nigeria also launched, and we are looking at what we call early stage entrepreneurs, who are entrepreneurs in their countries who want to launch the program, and so very soon we will have more Teach for ... in the African continent.
We're going to launch in 2016 with about 33 fellows, impacting close to 760 children in 12 schools in the Volta region. Teach for Ghana was technically established in 2014, so between 2014 to 2016, the majority of the work we did was trying to get partnership with the government, but also corporate entities and foundations to make sure that the challenges we are facing is more addressed from an ecosystem standpoint.
The Global Education and Skills Forum is an effort to bring together leaders from the public, private, and social sectors to address education's greatest challenges.